Welcome to our weekly movie talk on a Friday. Today with the second special for December, where we're gonna talk Christmas movies that are not actually Christmas movies, but take part during Christmas. So the Christmas movies to us. Last week we had Invasion USA, and this time we're gonna top it with Cobra.
That's right.
As always, I'm welcoming my good friend and co-host Sean. Hey Sean, how are you today?
I am doing fine, man. I'm ready to. I'm ready for the law to end and for Cobra to begin. Because
Yeah.
that's how this movie is. When it comes to law abiding and you committing criminals and killing people, you lost your rights, and that's a big part of this movie. Like, oh, I have
Exactly.
rights. I'm like, not with me. And that's why I said backstage, like, this movie has the Dirty Harry feel because how Dirty Harry has that sense of you got these serial killers killing people, but yet they got rights, and it's like, damn, those rights should have been thrown out the window the moment you start murdering people.
Yeah, they're like the fuck you have. You have the right to be crispy.
Yeah, extra crispy with yourself hanging from a hook.
Yeah.
And I love, like, that's one Christmas ornament I would love to have on my tree, a body on the hook.
That's actually perfect. Like, Stallone should totally do this. I don't think he's in the best terms with Brian Thompson. Like, I don't think the shooting was very like amicable. But that would be a fantastic idea. Yeah, this movie, it's so funny because I never realized how big it is in Europe. Every time you're gonna talk Stallone with somebody in Europe, it's like, what's your favorite Stallone movie? Cobra! Like, everybody loves this movie here. Like I said, usually when we have the Christmas party of the movies that I'm writing for, we're always having it in the Cobra room in a in a local restaurant, just because it's Cobra.
Yeah.
And even Cinemation wrote me a direct message me today on Instagram,
Same.
where she's like, "Oh, I guess that's my favorite Stallone movie." Yeah, like, oh yeah, you're from Europe. Everybody loves Cobra here. But every time I hear somebody from the US talking about it, it's like the Stallone movie you have to see that nobody saw.
Man, I've watched this movie so many times as a kid, man. Like, and the funny thing is, we had another VHS tape with Cobra and Beverly Hills Cop 2 on there, and the references that they threw in that movie, because we know the history.
I'm
There it is.
hungry.
Oh, a little piece. It's hilarious, man. Oh man, it's like how
you showed us how to eat properly pizza.
I still haven't done that even to this day. I'm like, nah. I'm like, there's no point in me cutting off the little piece, man. I'm from New York. We eat our pizza right there, man.
You know what? It looks weird, but it felt natural.
Yeah, you probably been doing it for years, man.
Now, usually I take the Atlantean sword for it.
Man, this movie, like Cobra is one of those movies, like, it's so 80s, from the soundtrack to the darkness of it, the violence, people like to say, oh, the movie was too violent, and that's 80s critics. I'm like, man, they had to trim the movie down from it getting a serious X-rated, It was because of the video nasties.
Yeah. I really hope one day we're gonna get the long cut. There's like 40 minutes missing. A lot of violence, but also a lot of story. And this is the thing you already mentioned very well, like this Dirty Harry vibe, and especially in the first half of the movie, it feels like very dark, almost like a thriller. And then it gets like this more regular, just blockbuster action movie vibe. And I really think if you recut that movie, that you could really get more the thriller atmosphere. I mean, I love the 87 minutes cut. It's a great action movie, but I really want to see like the almost 2 hour long version too.
And you know, I wouldn't mind to see a little backstory on, you know, Night Slasher and his crew and why they do this. Like, we know they say that, you know, they're the strong and, you know, they look at innocent people as the weak and stuff like that. But there's got to be like something that triggered this man's character to want to do this, you know, the one to cause fear throughout the city, you know, by killing innocent people for no reason other than they're strong.
And I really think, like I said, there is more. There must be more to it. And I think Brian Thompson, who played the lead of the Night Slashers, wanted to go that route, but Stallone basically said, "Now you're just evil. You act because you're evil because you're evil."
And yeah, like sometimes you do want a little backstory. What up, D? You do want a little backstory on this stuff, but I understand why they did the movie the way they did, because it's an action movie and it's like, man, we don't want backstory. We just want Stallone kicking ass. But
and that's what we're getting. But I really think that this could have been equally like as good of a movie like Nighthawks.
Yes,
if done right.
Yeah, and while Brian Thompson was great, you know, he can't measure up to the great Rutger Hauer in that movie.
Yeah,
because
but
Rutger Hauer actually, Rutger Hauer had that presence in that movie. Hey, Sandy.
Nation.
Rutger Hauer had
cut it like this in the Netherlands.
You're gonna do that to the whole pie, man. The whole stream. But you know, Brian Thompson just did an amazing job as this psychotic killer, you know, and he had that look, you know, the chiseled face, you know, the eyes. Like he looks like the type of guy you don't want to run across, you know, in the dark. You know, you see that face and you hauling ass out of town.
Yeah, it's like the first time I've seen Brian Thompson. I remember when I was a teenager in a movie. I thought it's like a low budget Arnold Schwarzenegger. But he really is getting like I think he's a very underrated as a villain.
And that's why when we talk Dr. Mordred, he was good in that, but you know, I wanted more in that movie with him as the villain. And it was disappointing that we didn't get to see a top tier climax in that movie. And this one, we get an epic climax.
Yeah, I mean he also was great in Leon with the Van Damme movie.
Yeah, in Lionheart.
Yeah. Like he's also one of these actors you're always happy when you see in a movie. And this movie like Cobra actually like it has a lot of characters in there, but not as many memorable characters. But those characters who are memorable are bloody memorable.
and again, back to the Dirty Harry ties. It's got two actors from the first Dirty Harry movie. You know. The partner in this movie who played Chico Gonzalez, he's Tony Gonzalez in this movie. I'm like, is he related? And then the villain in the first Dirty Harry movie, Andrew Robinson, is playing Cobra's boss. You know, that they don't like each other. So the ties to Dirty Harry is very strong with this movie in terms of how it's structured and the whole police versus almost vigilante like cop.
Yeah, it's really strange to see what it could have become, and with all the chaos like going on. Of course, that Cosmatos was the director on paper, but it was truly Stallone who directed the movie. So if this would have been a little bit more planned out, also that it's based on a novel, Fair Game. Very loosely, but also Stallone took the script after he went from Beverly Hills Cop with him, which he rewrote. So you have this very strange, it's like very strange amalgamation, like between all these properties, and then of course while shooting, it became its own thing, and in the editing room, it became something completely else. And still, it's an awesome movie.
Yeah, like Stallone has his fingertips on almost all the projects that he worked on. And just can you imagine if Beverly Hills Cop was this movie? I like for what they wanted with Beverly Hills Cop and what he wanted to change from that. like, man, we would have never got the greatness of that movie had
I
it
would
stayed.
I would like to just open quickly the door to the another multiverse where this happened and just rent the VHS. And I really want to check it out. I'm very happy that we got the Beverly Hills Cop that we got, because it also kickstarted like Eddie Murphy's career. But I really would like to also see the Stallone version that is not Cobra. Basically, this, like the whole production of Cobra must fucked up the multiverse so bad, because there's so many properties that could have been in this movie, that there are so many possible outcomes what the movie could have been otherwise.
Yeah, because the book that they used, Fair Play, was made into a movie in the 90s.
Yeah, with the Baldwin that didn't shoot somebody.
Yeah. Oh man. No savage jokes today, man. No savage jokes.
Yeah, okay.
I know the Lionheart, of course.
Yeah, Lionheart is amazing, yeah. Yeah. Of course, we also got to do Lionheart in the future.
Yeah, man.
And basically, we also get older than them. Hey, Nicholas. Hey.
And you know, another thing, like, it's funny that, you know, we talk about movies that has Christmas in the background. This movie really only had one scene where Christmas is in the background, and that's the opening scene at the supermarket.
It doesn't matter. Still counts.
It counts, but that's the only scene where we see Christmas, you know, is happening. Whereas last week when we talk Invasion USA, not only we got to see Richard Lynch blowing up Christmas homes, but we got to see a whole awesome scene at the mall of Christmas demolition, and it felt like we got a whole extended sequence of that. Whereas this one, it's at the beginning, and then it's not even mentioned again. Because the one thing I liked about Invasion was how the terrorists not only invaded, but they caused panic around the town. You know, and during the holiday season, you know, when you got people killing other people, you know, that caused tension, especially, you know, with families and stuff. They don't want to be out. I feel like this movie kind of didn't focus on the tension of the town. Of course, I understand why. It's a Stallone thing. He wants all the attention. But when people are getting killed during Christmas time, you would think that would cause a panic, besides just showing the cops' point of view.
Yeah, Stallone won't share the attention with Christmas. No.
He said he's not putting Christmas over.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, this is the only time I'm gonna show Christmas, and then the rest of the movie is just about me and the killers.
Yeah, he didn't even put his chick over. Which, of course, Bridget Nielsen was also in a movie back in the days when she and Stallone were still very hot going on it at it. And you know, I love Stallone. Stallone is one of my favorite actors and also writers, and basically one of my favorite movie people. But I think it was a little bit disrespectful for Bridget Nielsen when he said if he would do the movie now, it would be better because he would totally direct it and would cast an actress instead of like his back then. I don't know how he called it, but it was very disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, look, she was in Rocky IV, you know, and he directed that one, you know, so that was her big experience along with Red Sonja. And while she wasn't bad in this movie, it wasn't like she was just there just to be the focal point of being chased by the Night Slashers. So she didn't really add much to it other than to be a woman being chased and him having to protect her and all. But, you know, for what she did in the movie, it was fine. You know, nothing major, nothing big time. She didn't really have a lot to work with. You know, she the only thing that they had to do was like develop this chemistry between her and Cobra, with his partner telling her the full name. But other than that, she was fine in the movie.
Yeah, no, Bridget Nielsen is also always somebody I really like. I love the Red Sonja movie. Um, she would not have been my perfect Red Sonja to cast, but I also think back in the day, probably wouldn't have gotten somebody else where I wouldn't be totally happy with. But
Yep.
hmm.
You
But
can always count on
Bridget
Prince.
Nielsen, yeah, Bridget Nielsen is also an actress I will always like to see.
Yeah. And you know,
And
this was during the time when, you know, she was pretty hot after Red Sonja, this movie. She was also in Beverly Hills Cop 2. It's like, fuck, man. You can't get away from the whole Stallone thing in the Beverly Hills Cop movie after what he did with the first one. Like, they just went all in on the whole Stallone stuff in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Actually, I think that in Beverly Hills Cop 2, it may be one of her best acting gigs.
Man, she played the hit girl perfect.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
totally nailed that role. And it's so interesting to see her in that role, and she totally nails it at the baddest chick. And here she's the damsel in distress, which she also like. I wouldn't like not totally nails, but she's totally make it believable.
I mean, think about it. She was Red Sonja. She was the wife of Drago in Rocky IV, and even in that movie, she had serious tone. And then she was a badass woman in Beverly Hills Cop, but in this movie, she's kind of reserved and damsel in distress. And if you would have watched this movie last, you would have been like, man, she's kind of weak in this movie.
But she left Drago after he lost to Rocky.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, Stallone is also a man at the end of the day, which makes some decisions very much understandable. So no hate there.
So Animation
But yeah,
sent me. See, she sent the quote, and I was like, "Yeah, that was a badass quote." When the supermarket and the guy said, "I'll close this place up," he like, "Go ahead, I don't shop here."
There's so many awesome quotes in this movie. Also, of course, like "You're the disease and I'm the cure" is like a legendary quote.
Classic.
Sometimes you wish you just walk in a supermarket and it's held up just for you to cone those razors.
And Stallone just nailed the badass look with the black shades and dressed in black, and his vehicle was badass too. You know, so he just nailed the look of the character.
Stallone is in general very good to create iconic characters, like not only iconic characters in terms of the one-liners, but also in terms of the visuals.
Yeah.
And I mean, he even said himself that basically, personally, he's a real big fan of Cobra, and this was totally like a franchise lost.
Yeah, I agree, because you would have think, and let's not even take into the equation of the criticism that it got in '86. It made money, so you assume we could have gotten sequels to this. Like he
It
did
made
Rocky, he
160
did
worldwide.
yeah, he did Rocky. He had Rambo. Man, we could have had a Cobra franchise, but you know he didn't follow up on it, and it's a shame because the character had an awesome look. You know, I mean, the fucking theatrical poster is always one that stands out. You know, him holding the gun, his shades, just looking badass. Had Billy want to imitate him, man.
That's one killer poster, and even I even think about, since I saw a cheap listing from the UK, if I should get the Spectrum video game version of it, because in the cassette form it also has the cover. I mean, the game is horrible. Like he looks like Woody Allen in that.
That's what Minty said. You know, in his top 10 things you don't know about Cobra, he said the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, man, why I want to play as Cobra and he looking like Woody Allen, man? Come on, man. then you know the damsel in distress would be a lot younger. If you know what I mean.
I love the reference.
And I never was a Woody Allen fan anyway, so like,
yeah. Could have joined the Polanski club, yeah. But we all know where the heart of Hollywood truly lies, but that's another story. Yeah. Yeah, everything about this movie is really so stylish. I also really think that, especially in the first half, in the night scenes are shot very well, and you can really see that the cinematographer was quite talented. I think he had like a little bit, also like a little discussion with Stallone, but who didn't? I mean, a lot of people didn't because they were not allowed to talk to him in the first place. But everybody talked to him. Yeah, it was not the easiest production.
When it comes to Stallone, nothing's never easy, but yeah, he still tends to turn out a solid movie despite production issues.
Exactly.
One thing about the cinematography is I like the shots of the night slashers when they're going into action, at night, and the tension is very high when they're around and they're stalking their prey.
It almost has a certain Terminator feel, like if the night scenes were really like shot by James Cameron, and this tells a lot about the quality. So there's also like this. You always have what this movie also really nails, especially in the first half, when the night slashers on the hunt, is there's tension. Nobody is safe, and you could cut the tension with a pair of scissors.
And the thing is, you're dealing with multiple people. You're not even dealing with just one small group. Like, the movies make sure it starts off by showing them clap their hammers and axes. That is like a whole group of them.
There's even a fucking businessman in there.
I know that was odd as fuck. I wanted to see that play out. I was like, I want to see this business dude working 9 to 5, stalking somebody at his job and say, hey, we're going to get this motherfucker at the job.
It's like, this is like, did he get did he win a free ticket to the social Darwinism club or something?
And it's funny that they had a mole inside in the police department. I'm like, and when you look at it, that could have been explored, like how these guys are regular 9 to 5 working people, but yet they're low key terrorists as part of this group that kill people. That actually is something that definitely could be a movie on its own.
Totally, because there's you really feel there's so much background, so much backstory to this, and you really want to dive into it, because this is this is like a premise. I think it's like very much understandable. So you could really think, oh yeah, there could be people like these that do this thing. So this is actually quite. It's not unrealistic. It's not taken out of thin air, and you really want to see like how they infiltrated like all these places of power, and how deep it goes. Because when you have like one cop on the side, like Nancy Stark played by Lee Garlington, it sure goes way deeper. And this could have totally, like in the sequels, that then Cobra is basically hunting down the nests of the night slashers everywhere.
Yeah, because if they have this type of group in one city, I can imagine there's a lot more spread out in other places. And just think about it. I mean, you could have a high class job at some business stuff, got a master's degree, but you partake in a group that goes around just killing people. It like that's like mind blowing when you really think about it. Like you're the successful businessman, but yet you partake in some shenanigans that involve murdering people, and that's just normal for you. And it's something that definitely could be explored more.
Totally, and like I said, this could go really deep, and there's certainly that. Yeah, like I said, it's a lost franchise. There's so much more in it that we could have gotten.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I really hope one day they're gonna release the Workprint in a like in high quality if it's possible technologically. Maybe like let's see how how Rocky versus Drago do, like in terms of money. It still hasn't been released here as far as I know because I really want to see it. I heard very good things about this alternate cut. So I think that if Stallone would re-edit Cobra today, I also think it would totally look different. So it would be really great if he could get like all these missing scenes in like in a good quality to re-edit the movie again.
Yeah, I definitely still want to see the new cut of Rocky 4. It's one of my favorite Rockies. Like just based on the theme of retribution and revenge and the music and that final fight, man. It's like I love that movie.
And they also, yeah, I heard that they totally also re-edited the fight, like, and and that it not sucks like re-editing. Like, of course, the original fight is so awesome,
Yeah,
but yeah, I would really see. I can't wait to see the new take on it. Like here, I don't think it will even come to cinema, so I really hope it's gonna be released on Blu-ray or at least digitally. Yeah, we're gonna see. And maybe if it does well, he's gonna revisit other franchises because, as I said before, he really loves Cobra.
Oh, he loved the movie, all right. But another thing I liked about the movie was the conflict between him and his superiors. One of them being played by Andrew Robinson, the serial killer in the first Dirty Harry movie. And that dude has such a punchable face in this movie. Like you always got your people that like, this guy is a douchebag. He always getting on my nerves. I even like when one of the other guys asks him, you have an attitude problem. He like, just a little. It's like, why are you even asking that question when you're piling on all this stuff on top of him, and he's going to go out and do his thing regardless.
And it's also very tough, and this also speaks for Stallone, because usually when you have a protagonist, this is basically untouchable. And I have to say, you fear for every character in the movie except for Cobretti, because he's just so badass. Like, I mean, in the beginning in the supermarket, he walks in there like he's bulletproof.
Yeah. Like nothing's going to harm him.
Yeah, and usually when the characters like this, it gets a little bit stale because there's no it has no tension, but he's so cool, he beats that.
And I want to know more about the elite division that he's a part of, the zombie squad, man. Like, I know that's more like at night and stuff, deal with all the crazy killers, but shit, we could have saw a lot more of that. Like what is this zombie squad that he's a part of? Is there other people like him in this? That gets down and dirty and do the stuff that normal police won't do.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about a TV series since 2019. So, but of course, I don't think it would be with Stallone playing Cobretti, but I guess he would be writing or directing some of it. And I don't know if I should look forward to it, even if Stallone is involved.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he's Cobra. Like, who would you cast?
Yeah, like if we would have gotten sequels, we probably could have saw more of that. Because if you got the more nice slashers, then you need more of your whoever's part of the zombie squad, and he could have had some small crew, help him out. But like I said, it's something that could have been explored more. But what we got in this movie, it still was awesome. But it's funny when you rewatch these movies and you see the possibilities of all these other angles that could have been explored more. You start thinking, like, what if they did this or what if they did that? It's always fun reevaluating these movies.
Yeah, because when you watch it back in the days, you never thought about it like that there are like things as different cuts and stuff.
What up, Perry?
Yo, Perry.
Man, we got pry you away from reacting to movies and come hang out with us to talk a movie one day, you know?
I think Perry fell into an Instagram filter and got lost there.
God, man. Every time I scroll, I see Perry doing the damn Instagram stuff. I'm like, the
fuck? Yeah, because back in the days, like, we didn't think, like, there could be other versions. Like, this was the movie that we got. And when you found out later that a movie was cut or different versions of it, this opened a whole new world.
Yeah, I did remember you reacting to the movie. You gotta rein that in, man. You gotta like do one a day. Don't do like 10 a day.
Yeah. There is a Workprint that is 30 to 40 minutes longer. It's out there, but in a very bad quality. Yeah. But it totally alters the whole feeling of the movie.
Yeah, this definitely. We're definitely hoping that Stallone can at least do a new cut of Cobra. That way, we can get the full experience of the movie as it was meant to be.
Yeah, because like I said before, there was so much chaos about this movie. Like, the director was actually not the director. Stallone took over. He was the chef on set. And the Workprint was X-rated because they had, I think, all like nude corpses, and some of the violent scenes were a little bit longer. Somebody got axed in the face. So they had to cut it down to the R-rated. And Stallone, I also think because they had to get against Top Gun back in the day, they wanted to cut the movie to 80-something minutes, so they have more showings in cinema. They were totally afraid to bomb. However, the movie didn't bomb. It made 160 million worldwide, so it actually made a lot of money, since it cost somewhere between $13 and $25 million. So, and ever since then, there's been rumors that the Workprint might come out on Blu-ray, of course, remastered in good quality, but so far we haven't gotten it yet on Blu-ray, so hopefully one day.
When you mentioned that somebody took an axe in the face in the X-rated cut, the scene that came to mind was when they first attacked Bridget Nielsen in the parking lot, and they attacked her friend. And I was like, man, that scene was cut because he had to take that axe to the skull or a sledgehammer.
Yeah, with him, the scene is like he slipped on the blood on the floor, and his demise was a little bit longer.
I know, man. That's why when I was younger, that scene used to terrify me, because you don't see his death, but with them axes and sledgehammers, it wasn't pretty.
But that guy was also creepy as fuck.
But what's the best / idiotic death in the movie? Was that stupid security officer standing there getting rammed into the goddamn elevator by a fucking van. Like, bro, move the fuck out the way, man. Who stands there and just shoots? It's like the idiot from last week who stood there and let Chuck Norris run him over. What up, G-Man?
I'm all out of pizza.
Yeah, man. But it's been fun to see the X-rated cut. The chase scene in the vehicle was pretty dope.
Yes. They didn't went cheap on the action scenes. And also his 1950 Mercury, which was Stallone's own car. Like, that thing was just like made for an action movie.
The way he was driving that thing in that piece with the chase, I was like, man, he making this car look fantastic. I mean, I like that it's all black, so it's not, super colored up, because it fits his personality. He's all black and all that. But that was a great chase scene. You know, I should have posted for one of my favorite car chase scenes because I always love car chase scenes. And what the fuck? that person likes showing up for your chat.
That's another X-rated thing.
Oh man.
Need more water. Like, yeah, that especially the chasing scenes in the end. Also, when they went like outside of LA, it's awesome, and especially like the finale. The finale had again the vibe from the beginning, where this dark thriller, but in between it became a little bit of a like a normal action movie, which is, like I said, it's totally fine. I'm not complaining. But the end was really savage, and also really like the demise of the Night Slasher leader.
That was awesome.
Like you said, there should be a Christmas hanger for that.
That's right. If you're gonna say Cobra Christmas movie, I need that ornament with his body on the hook hanging on the tree.
I mean, it would also be a great candle.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like you knew though that hook was gonna come into play when you kept seeing it go by, and like, man, that hook
yes,
it
all knew. And I mean, there's a lot of like other things where you're thinking is, what factory is this actually?
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere with literally lava. It's like, is this like an abandoned villain's lair or something?
Hey, it's like what, the underground lair. You know, you got this nice mansion in Commando, but yeah, underground it's like this freaking pipe laden place. I'm like, damn, what the fuck is this?
And also, I totally wouldn't be surprised if a Terminator would have just been laying there somewhere.
T2, you know, with all that molten lava there, you would reformed up.
And actually, that would also be a cool ending for Brian Thompson's character if he went into. Would also fit in the whole Night Slasher theme, since basically it's like survival of the fittest, and the fittest was clearly Cobretti.
Yeah, because he was stronger than all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat Stallone. Stallone's the man. But the Night Slashers, like, they definitely needed more story in terms of background, but for villains, they definitely made very good villains in terms of just how threatening they were. You know, that they come in packs, and Brian Thompson just played the hell out of the role as a psychotic, deranged Night Slasher, like as the leader of the group.
I think originally Al Leong should have played the leader of the Night Slashers.
But he's always a henchman, though. I don't think he ever been
a leader. But that's the funny thing is, like, then
oh man,
I think some Asian organization was protesting against the portrayal of Asians as villains.
Look, Al Leong is one of the greatest henchmen of all time, bar none.
Yeah, I never get this that somebody is, like, people are complaining, oh no, we are always portrayed as villains. Like, it's like I'm German. It's like the only thing we are villains. But there's nothing cooler as seeing somebody of like your culture being a badass villain in a movie.
They don't like that Fu Manchu stereotype. You know, the Dr. Zen of the Johnny Quest and all that.
But I don't get it. Fu Manchu is one of the most awesome villains in literature history. The sex novels, I mean, they're just amazing. And if you like, if you want to be a villain, you really want to be a villain that goes world domination.
Yeah, you know, like you want that villain that has quality to it, that's a bit over the top, and that's iconic, you know, and that's what the Fu Manchu villains tend to be. You know, that's why his name is iconic, even if it's controversial.
Yeah. And you can ask any German from any German country. Like next week we're gonna talk about Die Hard. Is like what hard on they got when they heard the German talking in the movie.
Well,
like there's nothing better than being portrayed as a kick-ass villain. So I never get this, especially in the USA, when people say, "Oh, we don't want to be villain fight in movies." It's like that's basically like royalty.
Oh, the USA were villains when Bret Hart was tearing into them in 1997. You know, like everybody in the world was cheering for the Hart Foundation, but America, man, they the ultimate villains.
Yeah, Bret Hart also is like basically also a god here. He got so many prizes from German Youth's magazine back in the day, and there was almost everybody was a hard mark here. I think I was the only one who was like I was a big Kevin Nash fan, Diesel fan.
I thought you was gonna say Owen. I like that Owen better.
And Owen, of course, but Owen was my favorite Hart.
Yeah. But yeah. But the one thing about this movie is that you need some great villains and the nice slasher, and Brian Thompson played the hell out of the role. He was a fantastic villain, and that's why we remember the movie just as much. Like, yeah, it's a Stallone film, and we love Stallone, but without Brian Thompson as the night slasher, it wouldn't work because you need that yin, that yang to yin.
Yes, and especially since this movie didn't have so many characters in there, you really needed a memorable villain. Yeah, we got some HT girls in the chat. Since this channel is so hot, we're getting all the chicks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, talking about legends in in Europe, like I showed you before. I mean, it's crazy. We have a Terence Hill and Bud Spencer pizza.
That is awesome, man.
With variant colors.
Hey, if you keep showing that, man, we gonna want that box as an A-OK, man. Just send that my way.
Just send it to the cooler.
Man, who that still making jokes, man?
Yeah.
Hey, who that? Just throwing it out there. Next week, we're talking Die Hard. As our top tier Christmas movie. If you want to join, hey man, we love.
Everybody can join. It's the last show of the year, and we're gonna celebrate big with a really great Die Hard movie. And the first one.
Either way, man, they're both awesome. And we'll throw in
I tell you, like I'm not the only one who prefers part 2. I'm pretty sure like there must be dozens of dozens.
I know a lot of people here. Like,
hey,
Sleepy.
Damien.
4:00 Eastern.
Die Hard 1 and 2, because this month we're talking Christmas movies that are not actually Christmas movies. So, of course, Die Hard must be in there.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Eastern. So that will be, 3 your time for that?
I'm, like everybody knows, I'm so lost with time zones.
Yeah.
Which also explains that the chaos when the time shifts, even if I'm prepared, I'm still fucking it up somehow.
Hey, man.
We're also going to talk a little bit about Die Hard 3 because it's the best Die Hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a Die Hard stream and not talk Die Hard 3. Yeah. And then we'll stop after that because the other two don't exist to us.
Yeah, like Die Hard 3 was so savage they even had to censor the Funko Pop. But yeah, Samuel Jackson is so awesome in the movie. I think it was the second Samuel Jackson movie that I've seen. The first one was, of course, Jurassic Park. And yeah. And it was Die Hard with a Vengeance. And of course, then I remember playing the video game on the PlayStation, which I just used to run over pedestrians.
That game was underrated, man.
Here it's now 15 minutes before 11 p.m.
Yep.
Which is crazy. I don't remember when I ate last time pizza at 10 p.m. That's how you get it. That's not how you're getting old, when you're like, it's 10 p.m. and you shouldn't eat pizza. I remember back in the days, like you were out going into a club, eating a girl, and then order pizza at 2 a.m. It's yeah, those days are over.
Yep. Sometimes you get older, man.
Yeah.
Habits change.
I think Pulp Fiction was the third one or fourth one. I think it was the fourth one, because I think before that I watched Goodfellas. And
We gotta talk Goodfellas too, man.
Goodfellas, of course, we have to talk. Sweet. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe here, like, we have next on Monday, the lockdown ends, so we're basically free again, at least for a few days. So who knows when they're gonna lock us back in again? But if you ever make it to Austria, who that would love it to meet up.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past them to show up in there.
Gotta do some beheadings.
I remember being gutted when he died at the end of the third Star Wars movie. I was like, fuck, man.
Star Wars is so dead to me. Like, I haven't watched any of the Disney stuff after The Last Jedi. Like, nope. I'm out.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker because I refuse to watch it. No, we haven't talked that.
So far out, no?
If you want to plan that for next year, we could definitely plan a date to talk that.
Which is going to be fun because I'm not a Matrix fan.
Man, it's John Wick the Matrix. That's what that movie is to me. I'm just hoping that he actually becomes John Wick in the movie, and then by the end, he goes to a telephone transporter and meets Bill and Ted.
I mean, it's the Matrix, so technically it's possible.
I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm one of the only guys who even didn't like the first Matrix.
I like the first one.
Yeah.
The second
Not so much because it's a bad movie. I think it's not a bad movie, the first one, but I really hated the influence it had on other action movies. That everybody was using the bullet time, and everybody, it makes sense within the Matrix that you don't have a lot of blood in there because it's a computer simulation. So you can say, of course, like maybe in that world you don't splatter blood if you get shot. But it really ushered in the era of PG-13 action movies, and everything tried to be pseudo-philosophical and cool afterwards. So it was really a very bad influence on action cinema.
That's kind of how I feel about it. Like Sanimation mentioned the second Matrix highway scene. That's the only scene I could watch in that movie. I can't even sit through the second movie.
I've never seen the second or third one.
The only thing you need to watch in the second movie is that highway scene. Fantastic.
After the first one, I was like, I'm out.
That third one, the only good thing about the third one is that they actually did Dragon Ball Z better than Dragon Ball Z Evolution. That's the only thing. But man, I when it comes to Matrix, I only tend to watch the first movie.
Yeah, but the Dragon Ball Evolution movie has Shoyung Fat and Masters.
Shit still suck. They ain't saved the movie.
You know what? I remember watching it in the night at Sky. I had no idea there was a Dragon Ball movie.
You was high.
And I was pretty entertained.
You was high.
That was after after I stopped drinking. So I was actually quite.
No.
I mean, it was late, and who knows? Some people say I'm never I'm never normal. Uh, but I thought the Dragon Ball Evolution was actually entertaining. Of course, I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. I'm pretty sure when you like the anime and the mangas, that you would see it as a heresy. But I think it was a funny cover.
All right, so at least you didn't have the anime history of the show to
Yeah.
really look at that movie and say this shit trash.
Actually, I was just watching it and I was like, oh my god, it's Cho Yun Fat.
Man, you would think Charlie Young Fat will be great in that movie.
Yeah. And in the end, it's like, is this Spike from Buffy?
The news going around, they canceled the Netflix Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, that's not surprising.
I'm not watching that atrocity. I remember watching Cowboy Bebop on VHS back in the days, along with a Record of Lord of War, Urochiku Deichi, which is one of the most awesome animes. And Cowboy Bebop was awesome. It's a great science fiction a crime story with all the coolness, fantastic soundtrack.
Yep.
And of course, Netflix just fucks things up.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't excited about it. I'm not excited about any live action attempt on animes and stuff like that.
I do have to say, I know a lot of people will give me flack for that. I'm a big Ghost in the Shell fan. It's one of my favorite animes. But I think that the live action movie actually became good after the half of the movie when it started doing its own thing and not copying the anime. I think then it became like a thing of its own, and I really like the aesthetics. Yeah, that's the thing with Netflix, and this is also why I'm not getting invested in anything that Netflix does. At the end of the day, Netflix is a business. And if you're not making enough money, they're gonna cancel you. And even if you're successful, but with their business contracts, like after the third season, it gets so expensive with all the wage rises of the actors that it's not lucrative for them anymore. So basically, there's only a little of chance that you get any series on Netflix that goes past 3 seasons. And the thing that the thing that bothers me the most is when you're fucking producer on a Netflix show, never end the series on a cliffhanger.
Yes, I don't know why they keep doing that shit. It's annoying.
Never be excited about anything that Netflix does. Yeah. And also like North Korea's true Korea.
Yeah, but it's crazy how they end shows on cliffhangers and then they get canceled. That's the worst thing. Because there's people, and look, I'm a fan of the anime, so when I saw the trailer, I wasn't interested. But there's people that didn't watch the anime or didn't grow up with the anime. They watched the show and they enjoyed it. So now you hurt the people that actually liked the show because you end on the cliffhanger and then cancel the show and they're bummed out. You know, all the people who love the anime, they cheering. They like, yeah, you know, that show sucked and all that stuff. But the people who enjoyed that show and didn't have the ties to the anime, you know, they're screwed because now they don't get a second season out.
I just think that Netflix and Hollywood in general these days are too much in their own bubble and they have no idea, or basically they hate the audience that is actually willing to spend money on movies and or TV series. And when you do a show like that, when you look at the trailer, it must have cost a pretty penny.
Yeah. That's
So,
cheap.
and what is their thinking? It's, oh, it comes with a built-in audience, so we're gonna piss off the built-in audience. So, come on, it's
and then you make character changes, and you try to appeal to both sides of the audiences. The built-in audience and new audience, and that's where you tend to have an alienated audience because the built-in audience ain't buying that change, and then new audience, some of them ain't gonna like it because they think the acting is trash and all that stuff. It's like you can't win on either side. With this.
I haven't watched the Squid Game because also like I watched the pictures like, I don't think there's anything South Korean except for food that I like. I've given South Korean cinema so many chances, like Legend of Ginkgo, Train to Busan, and I just can't stand the movie making.
Yeah,
but Battle Royale, of course, is from Japan, and it's one of the most glorious movies ever made. I love Battle Royale. Of course, Takeshi Kitano is bloody legend. Yeah. See, it's if you make a show for a new audience, then basically you can don't buy the bloody license. Just make something similar if you make it for a new audience. But if you buy the license because it comes with a built-in audience, then your first goal should be to please the audience that you already have and have a show the quality to expand a new audience.
The man from nowhere.
I don't know if I have that much time. I have like movie comic stacks. And it's I would totally love to give like a country another chance on movies, but there's so much things I still have to watch from countries that I very love the cinema culture. I just got this week Spasmo finally was released on Blu-ray, also fantastic Giallo, and I'm like I said, there's still so many Italian movies that are still coming out now for the first time on DVD and Blu-ray, so I can finally see them in their full glory. So I don't have time for experiments.
And I've been on Tubi for the last few weeks, and they got like a lot of kung fu flicks and blaxploitation movies that I didn't even notice like back then. Like, and I've seen a lot of those kung fu flicks in the 70s, but there's a lot I have not seen. So I'm going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, they also bring out more and more blaxploitation movies here again, and I can't wait for February when we are gonna dive deep into blaxploitation.
I was hoping you make a joke and said dive deep into Pam Grier, but
that too, yeah.
Yeah. Foxy Brown, baby.
Oh yeah, Kofi.
Black mama, white mama.
Yeah, and especially, and what I also love, especially with Arrow, they are releasing fantastic 4K versions. I just watched Profondo Rosso in 4K, and it was a magnificent experience. It's just it touched me, like it touched my cinematic soul so deep. I often hear from other people that, oh, while you're watching this Italian movies in 4K, you only see the effects, and it's like, no, when you really dive in, and it's so fantastic, especially with Profondo Rosso, where the more technology that's put into it, the better chance the audience have to realize who the murderer is. Yeah, kung fu movies also, like there's so many and they're all awesome.
Yeah, they all have different varieties to them, man. Like when we did the Flying Guillotine, I just fell down the rabbit hole and like watched 6 other movies unrelated to the Flying Guillotine.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she has aged a lot, but she's Pam Grier, and nobody can take that away from her.
Yep.
And she's a fellow historian, and she follows me on Twitter. So I have no idea why, but I'm honored as fuck.
Yeah, it's like you fall down that rabbit hole of movies and can't come back out of it. Like, I've been watching some Giallo movies, over the last few months due to us talking and stuff, and I'm always open to start watching more Italian movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love the spaghetti westerns, and when you mention the Ben and Charlie,
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie before. Oh, Across 110th Street. That's a great one, Sandy. That is a great one. I love that movie, man. Yape Kodo, great movie.
Yeah, sadly also no longer with us.
But yeah, I just fall down because this, like you said, this a lot of movies to explore.
Exactly, and that's also one thing. Why there's a lot of hate about new movies nowadays, about new comics nowadays. I'm giving my fair share of trolling, I have to say that. But at the end of the day, I just don't give a fuck because we live like how long do we live? Like about 100 years approximately, hopefully. And how old is humanity? There are books from ancient Greece that are just fantastic, and there's great stories from the medieval ages, and especially since the technology of movies came out, there's so many movies that has been produced that you can't watch in a lifetime. So we have the luxury to dive into the history of our culture, of all the entertaining stories we produced in thousands of years. I don't even have to mind how shitty some of the news comics are because there's so much entertainment out there for me to pick.
It's not a bad idea what Sandy is saying.
We have to talk about the Flawless movies, obviously.
But what she said before that.
Yeah. Yeah, like we totally have to talk about the Flawless movie, and like I say, I love European movies, obviously because I'm European, man. But yeah, we totally have to talk about the Flawless in New York. I think that's also very interesting since this is actually I don't understand Dutch, but I watched this with subtitles since there's so many scenes in there talked in English, especially when they're in New York. So it's so great that the Americans are not dubbed, but they're speaking actually English, and only like you have then the Dutch scenes dubbed. It's just the Flawless. I grew up with all those movies.
Hey,
I'm also very curious.
The cover,
especially when Klaus watches the basketball game of the chicks.
Hey, the poster got me sold. I always love those cartoon posters, man. I'm actually interested in watching it, man.
Yeah, great. So in January we can do the Flawless, the second one.
Which one? The second one?
Yeah, the second one is in New York.
Okay, that's the one in America.
Yeah.
I'll have to track it down.
Yeah, and that one it's just fantastic. I think it's one of the best European comedies. Even though one of my favorite scenes in the first movie is when the mother catches the kids in bed is like.
Hi, man.
Like I said, the humor is very European. So it's and especially the Dutch, they don't know what political correctness is. So this is
they don't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to. sometimes it's best to go into movies without all that political correctness.
Yeah. So now I want to watch The Flawless again immediately.
You'd be like you're gonna fly out the timeline with that. Trying to look up to see if I can find.
Yeah. This like explains a lot.
Hey, but you're fucked up in a good way. You know, like I don't mind, you know, talking to you and Sandy about, you know, certain things, and sometimes the stuff fly over my head, but I know it's because it's a European thing, and that's why, you know, I don't really take it personal unless I actually, you know about
what's fucked up in a good way? Green pie?
I don't know. But you know, y'all have different personalities in terms of how us Americans think. So, you know, I don't really like think about it that much until, you know, I look it up. But
yeah,
you know, it's not something that's why I'm interested in this movie now, because of you two talking about it.
Yeah, and it's a great thing, especially in Europe. Europe, we're all one fucked up family.
Maybe that's what makes y'all better than Americans.
Yeah, we're more honest with our hatred.
You ain't got to worry about political correctness and all that shit. You know, like
Yeah, like we're not so salty like in America, where it's like still people are are being butthurt about the civil war. Here in Europe, like we really did some like evil shit, and like we can beat each other up, but on the next day we're drinking a beer together. Also, basically, Europe is small, so even if you hate your neighbor, you can't avoid them. So you gotta somehow make it work.
that's why you and Sandy have all that. Look, when that Sunday when I did my show and you and Sandy was tearing it up in the chats, having us rolling.
Yeah, because basically, everything in Europe actually belongs to Austria, truly, because the empire.
And that's true, you know. Y'all are straight to the point, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Americans tend to be reserved, you know. We don't want to push boundaries and stuff, and that's why, you know, you got those that push boundaries, and I like the ones that push those boundaries and don't give a fuck about the criticism. To me, those are the ones I prefer. You know, once you let that criticism hit you and you start to apologize, and I'm like, man, you just lost your credibility.
Yeah.
You know, you letting these people offend you. That's why I like the comedians like Richard Pryor and George Carlton and Red Fox, because they ain't give a fuck.
Those were the days, yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, you say something sensitive and people jump all over you and you apologize. Like, oh man, like,
and that's the thing. What I would absolutely don't get is that that these people are not the majority. They're like a vocal minority on social media.
and that's why I love what Dave Chappelle said. You know,
Yes.
based off of his last stand up and how he
With
won't
Twitter, it's like
shit.
like it isn't even a real place.
Yeah. That's the American way, you know, Sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I mean, you had your Vietnam, but let's just say having your country in ruins humbles you a little bit.
You really do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. I see one on YouTube full movie.
No.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that.
And also, like what we should lead, what we should totally talk about, of course, is maybe Verhoeven's of course Fire and Blood, which he did for an American studio, but still was shooting in Europe. Fire and Blood is also one of the. It's a fantastic Verhoeven, and in next I think in February or January, his new movie comes out, which involves nuns.
Nuns.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, just think about
Benedetta.
we gotta talk Miss 45.
Yeah,
We gotta talk Miss 45, man. We fall down that rabbit hole. A Ferraro movies. He was another one that did those video nasty movies like Driller Killer and all that stuff. Like those movies I enjoyed because they was just so different and part of that subgenre of video nasties.
it's
He
gonna
also
be a
did,
busy 2022.
yeah. He also directed one of my favorite crime movies, King of New York, with Christopher Walken.
Oh yeah, that's also a classic. But Christopher Walken is also an actor where we would maybe have to dive in, especially in the future.
Yeah, he's another great actor, man. Like,
Yeah, we already had. I think we talked True Romance. Oh yeah, we talked.
no,
True
we
Romance.
haven't talked to Woman. We
No.
have not talked that movie. We
Then
have
I've
not.
talked about it so much privately, but it's like there's not a lot of Christopher Walken in there. But
Man, the one scene he's in is one of the greatest scenes in movie history.
it's so crazy.
Him and Dennis Hopper.
Hopper
Oh
is
man,
wow.
I love that movie, but that scene I cannot miss that
Yeah.
scene ever. I got to see that scene every time I watch that movie.
It's so great when you watch the movie. There's several audio commentaries on it, and every time this scene is, the audio commentary stops and listens.
It's classic, man. That is classic.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken is that dude, man. Christopher Walken, that dude. King of New York is like one of those movies that I watch a lot.
And what is the Deer Hunter?
Oh yeah, that movie. That movie kind of messed me up as a kid, watching that for the first time and seeing that ending.
The first time I was introduced to Deer Hunter was actually through The Simpsons, when they parodied the scene, and you think. And as a kid, when you watch it, like you had no idea, like that what it is, and then you're watching it, it's like you're making that reference in a kid show. Kudos, kudos to you.
Simpsons made lots of references, man. They ain't care.
Yeah,
that's why I don't know how they still going under the mouse. I'm like,
yeah. It's let's just say The Simpsons died a long time ago, officially.
Bad Lieutenant.
Yeah.
That was another movie.
But Harvey Keitel, of course, also, yeah. Overshadowed? Is he overshadowed? I mean, he was like big when I was young. Everybody knew when Harvey Keitel was on something that, like, I mean, also the first Harvey Keitel film that I've seen was From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, he's another great actor, man. Like, and I know we're gonna talk Copland next year with him and Stallone.
Yes, that's magnificent movie. Like, wow,
Copland. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen Mean Streets with him and De Niro. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind doing some Harvey Keitel movies.
Lots on the watch list.
Oh yeah, man. And
yeah, I'm just so happy that one of my, I think I showed you on Instagram yesterday, but there's finally a comic book version of one of my favorite horror movies.
Nice.
It's the Tombs of the Blind Deaf in English. It is originally like a Spanish horror movie from the 60s, and finally a comic book adaptation of it. Like, totally out of the blue. And everybody that knows me, I love my undead Temple Knights.
And
sweet, it's drawn by Mark Grass, who's a Spanish artist, and I think he also worked for Variant back in the days.
That's awesome, there. I agree with that, Sandy.
Yeah, De
Keitel's been
Niro.
in some great movies though. Like, no lie. I always thought the movies that he was in, he always had a presence. Clockers, another movie, with him and John Toronto and Mackay Pfeiffer,
But
Spike Lee joint.
could it be with Harvey Keitel that nowadays he's not so much in talk? Is that De Niro is very outgoing personality, like he's very vocal, and I don't know how it is in the US, but actually I don't think I've ever seen Harvey Keitel like social media or
No,
anything. I think it's like maybe because he's not so because he just doesn't care about being more than an actor.
yeah, like he never was an outgoing person, and even growing up, like you see him in all these movies, but you don't really see like too many interviews or too much stuff like he doing red carpet stuff. Like he wasn't that type of person compared to De Niro. That's why De Niro gets all the acclaim and Keitel doesn't. It's almost similar to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, whereas
Yeah.
Kirby did all the artwork and stuff. That's because that's what he did, and Stan Lee was the more outgoing personality. He written all stories with Kirby, but he had more of the charisma and the personality to go do those interviews and stuff. So I think Keitel was that laid back person that just his work speaks for himself.
Yeah, and it's also like with comics, like you said with Jack Kirby. Everybody who's like a true fan of cinema and a true fan of comics knows those names.
Yeah. So yeah, some Harvey Keitel movies are on the horizon next year.
For sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Also,
big.
next week I should get another spaghetti western with Bud Spencer and Terence Hill.
I definitely want to talk about the Sabat movies with Lee
Ah, the
Langsley.
Sabata. Yeah,
Like,
so good. I love the Sabata
I, de-
movies.
I definitely want to do a show on that.
I mean, I love the first Sabata movie is fantastic. Also, the second one is not really a Sabata movie, actually, but it's still the third Sabata movie. Let's just say it was past the prime of spaghetti western.
Yeah, because that
But
was like late '70s. That was when spaghetti western was starting to die out.
yes, and it was more a comedy than like a spaghetti western. So it works with some actors, like with Terence Hill and Bud Spencer. The comedy thing works very well, but with Van Cleef, you really want to have like a western with gravitas. I mean, De Niro also talks a lot of crap. Oh, it's gonna sound very interesting. Yeah, like I can always take a new mob movie.
I know Lansky is the mob
Yeah.
guy, so I'm
and
interested in seeing that.
and after the very disappointing Many Saints of Newark, I need a good mob movie in my life again.
Yeah, I feel like mob movies has been inconsistent.
Yeah, like I was so much looking forward to the Many Saints of Newark since it looked so promising with all the people being involved, and then it was just boring. I mean, it was not bad. It was just very redundant.
Now I'm thinking about Once Upon a Time in America.
I mean, oh yeah, I've watched it once in my life. I
Because
think
it's
I
a
watched.
long movie. It's a
I
long
know I
movie.
watched it when I was. I watched it when I think it was 16, 17. And I thought like, oh, cool, a mob movie, and then it was 4 hours later, and it was like,
Fuck, you
and I
just watched
felt,
it.
I felt like I aged with the actors in the movie after watching it.
That's how I felt. Like the movie was so long, and I'm like, I need some mob shit, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I understood the story being told about coming to age of being from young to being older in the 20s and 30s, but fuck, that movie was so long.
Isn't there also like this theory about the movie that at a certain point it's just the opium dream?
I don't know, man. Like it's been a long time.
Yeah, Ennio Morricone.
It's a beautiful film. I'll give it that, but man, it's been a long time since I watched it because it's been a long ass movie. Like
Yeah.
like you said, like you watch the movie, you're aging by the minute of the movie go by.
And I haven't even watched The Irishman because yeah, Untouchables. We have for sure talk about that one.
Yeah, Untouchables, and we definitely like Godfather is going to be one of those like we break down each movie individually.
Yeah, and when we talk mafia movies, of course, animation, you're invited to join.
Yeah.
Since we know you love your mob movies.
No, I'm waiting on the return of Sanimation Investigations, but hopefully we can get the raid going, with the Cinemation stream. But whenever she's ready, I'm down because I got the Blu-ray collection of it, so I'm ready to watch both of those movies. I love the raid.
It just broke up.
What happened?
Which movie?
The Raid.
I have never watched the Raid movies. I know I have to watch them. I know I have to watch them.
Gotta watch it, man.
Yeah, we're desperate.
Wow, almost 5:30. John must be really swamped with work. Hopefully next week we can hopefully get him on if he ain't swamped with work because it's the week before Christmas, and I know my brother really wants to join next week because
I hope he can make. I really hope he can make time.
It depends on if he gets.
Because it was so hilarious when he was here when we talked dramas.
Yeah. And it's funny. I sometimes go back to that episode and rewatch it, and I was like, and this is why I'm glad he's doing some streams, on the Johnson Show, and he'll sometimes be on the Comic Hall crew because he has great insights himself, on talking movies and sports and comics. So, but that Trimmer stream was a lot of fun.
And of course, I think it was a brother. We still have to talk about the awesomeness of Howard the Duck, the movie, because I think he disrespected Howard the Duck.
He didn't disrespect Howard. He disrespected
and Super Mario. He disrespected both.
I told her,
because both movies are great.
Yeah, I love both of those movies, man. They're so crappy, but they're so much fun. And it's like that's why when you said earlier that you was entertained by Dragon Ball Evolution, I was like, I hope we don't talk about that movie in the stream. I don't want to watch it.
That would be actually we can do that.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch that movie. I'll watch the movies than that.
That's one. This is also one of the instances where I wish I could bring Comic Jabroni back from the dead for that one because he loved Dragon Ball so much. He would have hated on the movie so much.
Yeah, man. I would have hated just being there because we're co-partners on this show, and I'm like, damn it, we gotta talk this shitty ass movie. I thought we don't talk shitty
I really think that Howard the Duck is a great movie.
Yeah, I'm down for that, man.
Yeah, and until the MCU doesn't have duck boobs, and until they don't even have.
Happen.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna happen because this ain't the '80s, man. Duck boobs is not in today's agenda.
Dark boobs, bestiality. It's
it's not in today's agenda. The '80s, you can get away with anything. Cocaine was a hell of a drug back then, and that's why we had all those great movies.
Yeah.
we still gotta talk Basket Case. That you talk about cocaine lace to come up with something like that. Basket Case. By the third movie, they just jumped the shark and said, "We going all out crazy."
And that's the thing, is like Basket Case, and then it's like there's more movies in that franchise. Like, the fuck? It's also
like
classic.
You see something
classic.
like that, and like, what the fuck am I watching? But that entertained me because it's like open up a basket, this thing jumps at you and shit.
It reminds me the first time, and this was a movie that was on German television also almost every 2-3 weeks, was Troll 2. So I watched this movie so often. As a kid, the first time I watched it, it's like, what is this? And then it's like, this is entertaining. And then later, when you found out that the costumes were actually made by Laura Gemser, one of the most beautiful creatures on this planet. Which in the future we also have to talk about the Black Emanuelle movies.
And VHS have definitely been posting it. I'm like, damn, we missed our opportunity to talk Gremlins, man. I love the first Gremlins movie, and that's a Christmas movie. We already
talked Gremlins last year.
We did?
Yeah, we talked about our favorite Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I'm ready to talk it again, man, because I love that movie.
Do you hear what I hear?
Yeah. Christmas tree attacking.
Great. So I think we're already very deep into the live stream. Do you have anything going on this weekend, Sean?
I should be doing the show tomorrow because I won't be doing the show next Saturday. So I'm definitely going to try and do a show tomorrow, and that's about it. I got a 500 subscriber giveaway contest on my page right now. It goes up to December 31st. It's only US and Canada, for the people who want to join. I'll do a worldwide shipping on my next giveaway. But if you're interested, check it out. All you gotta do is leave a comment for one entry, and if you do a video, you'll get another extra entry. So I make 2 entries. So,
and if you're female and send nudes, I'm pretty sure you can also give another entry for that.
I don't know, man. You asking for that person to comment back, man. Who that already looking forward to another comment from that.
Nice. Hope I can make it tomorrow to watch the show. Yeah, I really need to do a whole video in the next time. Man.
Do it.
I'm having books stacking up, but also I still have to do so much work. I have to write a completely new script again for a new topic. So I'm also gonna do a little bit over-hour working tomorrow. Yeah, but I just got almost a full car run. I mean, I'm having the full car run now, but I got let's just say I got the whole I got the missing books all in one sweet swoop.
No, yeah, I forgot to mention I will be a guest on Mastodon Comics. Tonight at 8:05. We're gonna talk music. And I love music, and we all have our different music tastes. But music is something that we all can relate to and have fun talking about it. So
yeah, and Mastodon also, he's a big fan of power metal.
Yeah, man. I hope one day you can be on that show if y'all can get the schedules right. I think y'all will have a great conversation.
It's really crazy. That's so sad that most of the shows are like at 3 a.m. my time.
Yeah.
And since I'm teaching, I'm like it's this schedule sadly doesn't work.
Or maybe whenever there's time available, that's not a live. You could do a pre-recorded show, and then he broadcasts it at 8. That way, it's not a live show that you have to stay up to be up on.
A lot of people came together in Madonna, so. Which also reminds me, we're gonna have to talk Dick Tracy in the future.
And Sandy, I know we've been wanting to talk Aaliyah for months, but we definitely gotta set that up. Sometime next year we gotta talk Aaliyah. You know, I done listened to One in a Million like I don't know, fucking 15 times since it became available on Spotify. So I'm ready to talk Aaliyah.
I also have to do now. I remember the past on my channel where I did like basic the sword and sorcery music reviews. I really have to go back in this. It's just like there's so little time for edited videos sadly right now.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing about the live stream where
no,
I just can talk bullshit and don't have to prepare anything. Yeah, Dick Tracy. It's not a perfect movie. It's every time I watch it, it's a movie that's better in my memory than it actually is. But it's a very artistic movie.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
And,
like it's a movie I ain't seen in a long time, but I remember watching it a lot as a kid.
Yeah, and I was in my early 30s when I found out that Al Pacino actually is in the movie.
That was the most weirdest thing ever when he was in that movie, though, as that character. I was like, Al Pacino?
Which is so cool because basically you're spending so much money on a memorable face and you're making unrecognizable, not only in look but also in voice.
But yeah, that's another movie that I need to rewatch since it's been a long time.
Yeah. So I got
looking forward to next week, man. I think next week is going to be awesome. You know, sadly, John Comics with Kids can't join us. You know, I know he wanted to join, but you know, time differences. But, but like I said, whoever's interested, man, die hard, man. Next week we're talking 1 and 2.
Be our guest. So for today, like I think I had my pizza. Now I have to stay up a little bit longer since I have to digest the pizza. Once you're over 30, close to 40, don't eat pizza after 10 p.m.
Nope.
that's the lesson of today. So, but for everybody who didn't eat pizza after 10 p.m., have a savage weekend.
Later, y'all.